Hey, everybody.
Just being a still image at the moment. Well, it's going to be an
Yeah, it's like-
interesting show.
Like, why are we
tonight.
not saying anything? We're just like,
Well, it's I thought they was taking a picture. Oh, the internet moves sometimes. Wow, that's new and different.
Oh,
Right.
is it in color too? And you can
Well,
hear it?
let's.
Or do you have to
let's
play
look.
that little piano along with it as the captions go by?
Yes,
Hey,
exactly.
This is
Title
a
cards
talkie.
will come up and say things that we're
Remember-
saying. And,
have you ever shooting like you're shooting like a video and somebody's sitting there posing for a picture? Oh, you're shooting video.
yeah,
Mhm.
I did that to a celebrity one time. And he went, "Oh, it's actually I think I did it to Trace." And he went, "Oh, no, it's a video camera. Stop
Right.
it."
That's right. All right, let me share this out on Facebook, I guess.
Do that for me too.
Okay, I'll hack into your account and do it.
I should do that myself. Oh. Do-do-do-do. All right. There we are. Let's see.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay. I've shared that out as well. We shall see what we shall see.
Mm-mm-mm. I will share also.
Sharing is nice. Sharing is good.
Sharing is caring.
For sure.
Share now.
Now. Right now.
That's right.
Share it.
Here we go. You ready?
I am. Let me just get to the top of the show notes here.
Brace yourselves, kids.
Are you ready for Stanley's Playhouse?
That's right.
Okay.
You want to drink from the warp core?
Who doesn't?
Oh,
All right, give me a count in, if you will.
who's ready to swim in the pile of Armus?
No.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Wow, we crossed UHF with Star Trek.
Wait, let me update my predictions.
Where can we go?
Yeah, I didn't see that one on my bingo card.
Our predictions are all about crazy cross references we're going to try to make.
Right.
Challenge accepted. No, that's not the way it goes. It goes like this in 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is The Topic is Trek, episode 175 for Friday, January 10th, 2025. Coming up in this episode, we pick our favorite scenes and moments and episodes. Did I say that 3 times? I don't know. From Lower Decks. You'll understand when we get there. Also, then we see how we did with our end of 2023 predictions for 2024. We'll also see how a few of our fans did on their predictions. And then it's time for our 7th annual predictions for the year ahead. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll want 2025 to be over just to see how well we did. All that right now on The Topic is Trek. Our top decks and 7th annual prediction show. Welcome to The Topic is Trek, the podcast that runs on impulse power. Join us for a journey where no show has gone before. If it has to do with Star Trek, there's a good chance we'll talk about it sooner or later, because on this show, the topic is Trek. Engage already. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another thrill-packed edition of The Topic is Trek. Got a little flustered there at the beginning of the episode because, I don't know, Chuck made this face and I thought, did I say the wrong day, the wrong year? What was I doing there that was wrong? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll fix it in post. Don't worry about it. We always
Hey.
fix everything in post.
It's a special
Yeah,
condition.
well-
I told you not to mention it again.
And now, in order to be a co-host, I have to have other hosts here with the first one of 2025. It's the hip new catchphrase that all the kids will be saying on the TikTok and the Instagrams and the Snapgrams and such.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot. I know.
It is a phrase, but I think someone would have an issue with you using
3
that as
weeks he's had to work on that.
No, I've been preoccupied for 3 weeks.
More
Yeah.
workshops.
You
Come
could
on,
have done
as
it in Italian,
You're
but anyway.
flying across the Atlantic. You're bored out of your skull. Your mind wanders, and that's as best it comes up with.
Sorry.
And of course, you can hear beaming in, or somehow his voice always gets here before he beams in. It's very weird. Is Mr. Chuck Tomasi?
I'm taking the Klingon transporter.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's the stuff.
Joey.
And I'm out of here.
Actually, that should have been the catchphrase. That's the stuff because I've heard it 100 times. It feels like in Lower Decks.
Yes. Well, also, there was a couple of, I think it was the end of season 3 and season 4 where the villain both, they say, "Oh, you're not that person," and they go, "Oh, yes, I really am actually that person."
Yeah.
I
Locarno
once again,
and
Clinton,
What's that?
compliments to you on your graphic for the opening graphic where the entire Lower Decks crew is celebrating the new year.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and we have 2024 beaming out and 2025 beaming in.
And everybody's cheering.
It should have been
And,
like, star dates on there, but oh, yeah.
They didn't invent those yet.
Well, they can convert to them,
Yeah.
We haven't
convert,
reached
yeah.
Putting
Yeah.
star dates would be way too long to just even fit on there. All right, so I mentioned up front what we're going to be doing this time. We're not going to actually do news this week. We're giving news a break because the first of the year. News is tired right now. So,
No news is good news.
exactly.
Right.
But that means that there's no subspace chatter. I mean, we know somebody is very, very disappointed in that, Mr. Charlie X. Yes, exactly, Eric's.
He's got a weird laugh.
Well, he had a little cold over the holidays.
Cold.
All right, we're gonna start off doing our favorite episodes, moments, scenes from the 5 seasons of Lower Decks. We've done this for Discovery. We did it for Discovery. And what else did we do it for? Did we do it for some other show? But I know we did it for Discovery. So what we're going to do is the 3 of us have all watched all 50 episodes again to come up with stuff. And I have seen all the picks, but Chuck and Craig don't know what anyone else has selected. So it's going to be a surprise for us as well as all of you guys. So let's go on with this. And the first one is going to be, hold on a second here. Let me get down to the right part here. Okay. It's going to be Craig. You are up first.
All right. So, so we're talking about No Small Parts.
Mhm.
And I like this one because there was a lot of little surprises in there. The Packlids, they turned out to be had a big twist on their character, not arc, but their characters or their species.
They don't know what an arc is, so don't credit them.
Yeah. And they kept referring to all the ships as Enterprise. The whole thing was ridiculous. On top of that, I think if I boil it down to a moment in this episode, it was the beginning when the Slovene was trying to warp out while the nacelles were grappled on. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, they were just So the captain was wanting to keep the ship pristine and wanted the sticker on the thing, the
The little
protector.
coverings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would say, "Take your shoes off right now," and then to see something like that, you're like, "Whoa, that was a telling moment of this whole episode." So I really enjoyed this episode, and that's why I'm putting it on my list.
Yeah. I often refer to this to myself as the episode where Lower Decks kind of proved that it's got it. I mean, it
Mhm.
stayed. We'd had lots of episodes with some serious moments in it. They had already like 2 episodes prior to this when they'd all gone all in on Star Trek memorabilia, if you will, just really going heavy into that. But in this one, you get to see death and
Mhm.
destruction and stakes actually being they couldn't be any higher going on.
Yeah. Well, Shax dies.
Mhm.
And then you get the kind of uh interesting moment where uh Mariner was outed as Freeman's daughter, and everybody's trying to treat her different. Um,
I had an honorable
Yeah.
mention in there from that when uh, Freeman says, "I want you to be just as hard on her as the rest of the crew. I can be
Yeah.
hard. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not hard now, but
Yeah.
that was perfectly awkward. It was great. Hey,
And
we did
and it starts
we
off
did
so
see
innocently with that
uh,
second contact with Landru,
Landry. That's right. Yeah, and the red hour. Well, oh yeah, we did see the Spock helmet in this
Yes.
episode with all the contraband that was falling out of the walls and the ceiling and everything. So
also had another honorable mention where Ransom says, "Intruders beaming in very slowly,
Oh, yeah.
beaming in." So, Frank, your beaming at the top of the show was a touch to that.
I got. I was wondering what it was, the extended mix of the.
That's right. It was the DJ remix of it.
15 minutes of transporter.
So this was a good episode for some of those reasons right there. Like I said,
Yeah.
that whole warping scene just kind of floored me when we saw it.
Right, because you go, what just happened? It
Mhm.
blew up. That's
Yeah.
not good.
And then we get the Titan
Enterprise.
rescue. I'm sorry I'm late. I was watching the first Enterprise on the holodeck. Archer, those guys had a long road getting from there to here.
Yeah. Oh boy. Another Enterprise.
We'll talk about this later, Will. Yes. All right.
So I put this one at the top of my list. So that was
Yes,
my first
absolutely.
one.
Excellent. Excellent.
Unlike me, who's are in no particular order.
Well,
Oh,
let's get to your first pick, Chuck. Here we go.
I'm hoping this is the right one from season 1, episode 6, Terminal Provocations. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. I really, really enjoyed the opening scene where the lower deckers are making engine sounds. No, the
Oh.
work part goes more like, "Bzzz." You'll find that most of my favorite moments are humorous in nature, save one or two. But no, it's more. No, it's yeah, that's it.
You
I
know,
was just cracking up that they were having
know what?
this competition.
I think we may have mentioned this when we talked about this one, but this reminded me of what's that little the cow says, that
Oh,
Fisher
yes.
Price
Farmer
says.
says yes.
But I remember thinking that or hearing that people interpret animal sounds in different ways. So we say a cow goes moo.
Right.
Somewhere else it may make it as another sound, and that's what this reminded me of. Everybody had a different interpretation of the same thing.
Ransom walks in and thinks they're possessed by some alien.
Oh yeah, he's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Attention security. We got a
Yeah.
situation here. Lower deckers, you just can't win.
On to you, Clint. What's your first pick?
Okay, my first pick is not from any particular episode. It's from all of them because one of my favorite moments from Star Trek Lower Decks is the score.
The
score of all the episodes.
Okay.
Obviously, Chris Westlake is not in the episode as pictures as a person, so got Barnes playing the tuba instead there. But
Is that not what Chris Westlake looks like?
well, I
Unibrow and all.
So I've always said that one of the things I like about Lower Decks is that the music doesn't get to know it's a comedy. And you don't have those wah 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 moments
Right.
in the thing. All the music, if you
Right.
took, if you had opportunity to take out the dialogue and just listen to the episode with music, you'd know pretty much what was going on because it's got its own theme going on, and of course, Chris taps an awful lot into the entire archive. We get shades of next. Well, we actually have heard the Next Generation. We heard the Next Generation theme in the episode we were just talking about.
For Wrath of Khan.
Small parts. We've heard Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
We've got classic TOS stuff. We've heard Voyager stuff, and all of it is really excellent. And I think it is kind of an unsung hero, no pun intended, of Lower Deck. So I want to make sure that got a shout out as one of my favorite things about the show.
Yeah, you could almost say that about all the Star Trek series because the music is always really good, except for Enterprise.
Oh, that theme song. We won't talk about that.
Yeah, if you ever listen to the TOS music with headphones on, it's I'm pretty amazing, especially after only watching it on mono TV all those years. And when you listen to it, it's like, wow, they really had some range there. It's good.
And it you always get that people always refer to that that. So you've got iconic stuff, and I know we've heard shades of that in other Star Trek.
Wait a minute.
One
you mean from the Cable Guy?
Oh, well, no, I mean, yeah, well, that's a reference outside of Trek itself, but
Yes, I know.
did they have one in Galaxy Quest? I don't know. They had a scene kind of like that was supposed to, but
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to our second round. And we're back to Craig for his number 2 pick.
That was very
All
Zach
right.
Flanagan of you. Second round.
Second
Yeah.
round.
I thought it sounded familiar. I had Hear All, Trust Nothing, which is season 3, episode 6. And it's it's Deep Space Nine. It's the big deep dive into Deep Space Nine lore. And you see a lot of Quark. Kira and Shax are reminiscing / arguing,
Yes.
catching up. Quark's worried about his replicator. Of course, we get I'm trying to remember if we saw different shades of Orions before this, but we saw an Orion of a different shade of gray.
I believe we had by this point.
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't remember. At least the way the order I was watching them in. But I'd really enjoyed this because of like I said, seeing Deep Space Nine and all the characters we care about, and it was a little nostalgic because you start they're all excited about seeing everything just as much as I think the viewer is. At least I was, and I think I don't know if I can speak for you two guys, but Boimler and Tendi and Rutherford's excitement when they walk into Quarks kind of mirrors ours when we were at the Star Trek experience going into Quarks. Go, oh, look at that, look here, oh, they were doing the same kind of thing that we were doing.
It would be just like
our gift shop was pretty well picked over by the time we got there.
Yeah, and we didn't have any discount.
No, but just walking in, and you see the bar and the tables, and I was getting that feeling again. I was thinking about that when I saw that part.
And that's interesting because we also have that scene in another episode where we go into the Starfleet experience, which is the Star Trek experience from Vegas.
Right. Starfleet experience, right.
Yeah, and everybody seems to have like stuff going on, and it's like Marina's still in the ship and she's dealing with Jennifer and Jennifer's friends.
As I watched that, I realized it because we had just wrapped up the season and they had that montage at the end, the girls sitting around Nana's lamp. That was Jennifer and her friends. I went, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about all those other people until I went back and rewatched some of those episodes. So it's kind of fun reconnecting, like the first time we meet Petra Aberdeen and her storyline. It was really fun putting all these threads together again.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Yeah. I was gonna say seeing some of the characters like Kira really come into her own. She's basically the commander of the whole space station now. Very capable. Oh, Tendi. We saw her actually leap into action and take over that ship. And that was kind of amazing to watch. I was probably excited to watch that again as much as Rutherford was. He was like, "Oh, look, she did this. Oh, what's she gonna do with that tooth? What's going on?" So
I just
anyway,
kind of picked it up along the way.
yeah,
Mistress
yeah,
of the Winter Constellation.
yeah. And Boimler kept winning at Dabo.
Yeah, and traded him in for Quark's bucks.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah, we
'Cause who
don't use
wouldn't?
money. Yeah, we don't
He
use
wa-
money in the
he
Starfleet.
walks out
Yeah, I'll
with a
take
whole
that."
bunch of souvenirs like foam finger.
Yeah. So I enjoyed this episode for the nostalgic Deep Space Nine deep dive.
Absolutely. And we get to just walk around one more time, on the ship, which was a lot of fun
Mhm.
on the station. All right. Let's go on to Chuck's number 2 pick.
I had a lot of fun with this one, and it was hard for me to narrow it down to just one because there were so many in here. Season 1, episode 9, Crisis Point. You know, this is where Mariner makes her own movie in the holodeck,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's largely around, Wrath of Khan. You see everything from that initial flyby of the Cerritos, like, "Well, just keep looking," kind of thing. And it was the music, it was the Motara Nebula ripoff, it was the signatures in the credits.
Mhm.
I had such a fun time with this whole episode. It was hard to pin it down to one particular moment, but I think the one that really capped it for me was that flyby of the Cerritos going, "Oh man, we're in for a deep one here."
Yeah. This is also
The-
one of my picks, and for a lot of the reasons you're talking about, because they tried to mirror a lot of the scenes from the movie universe movies.
Yes.
yeah. we'll call
So
it
yeah,
that.
it was fun to see all that stuff, just like you said, especially even the signatures at the end.
Right. So I think we're talking a bit more about Crisis Point in just a minute. So let's move on to my number 2 pick here, which was the removing the outer hull from the Cerritos,
Yes.
Right. That was
because
pretty good.
that's something we hadn't seen before.
Never.
And the fact that the model that they created for this thing is extremely detailed. It's like I don't think that they built that ahead of time when they first built the model. I think they had to get that script ready really early and then go, okay, now we have to see what does this entire ship look like without its
Graphics
outer
people,
hull on
start
it.
working on that.
So you want a naked ship?
Oh,
Yeah,
another naked reference. Great. Naked
that's the
now,
stuff
naked
right there.
time,
See?
naked
Right.
Cerritos.
But yeah, it was just really, when I was watching that scene for the first time, I remember going, wow, all the stuff we've seen happen with starships, I don't recall that ever happening before. And, they kind of had an explanation about why they were doing it. And if there were consequences afterwards because it didn't have an outer hull on it. And it just kind of was a little bit vulnerable and had to, be protected. But I just really, really like that concept of what new can you do with a starship
Mhm.
that you haven't
Strip
seen?
it.
Good call.
Strip it. Yeah,
Strip it for parts. Yeah.
that's right. That's pretty good.
All right. Well, let's move on to Craig's 3rd pick, so we can
Round
talk
3.
a bit more about. This is
Yes.
indeed Crisis Point.
What? Oh, well, I don't know if you're going to skip over it because of.
No,
Keep going.
All right, so Crisis Point. Again, I like the whole concept of her pulling a movie into the holodeck, and it really, aside from some of the humorous parts, it showed an emotional side to her because she was dealing with stuff with her mom, fighting herself, as you got on the screenshot here. So I really like the complexity of it, and even at the end, I think we talked about this. At the end, you go, which Mariner did we get out of the movie? Because it was a little ambiguous. Like, did they swap them or something? So I thoroughly enjoyed this. the Crisis Point.
And you were in awe of her programming skills, I'm sure, because just from that little pad there with like a couple minutes while she was still talking to Boimler, she reprogrammed this entire thing
That's
to
right.
be her movie.
Generative
right.
AI is a great thing.
I think he even said you already had that, or did you write that down quick or something? He said something. He mentioned, how fast did you make this?
Just a couple of set pieces. Set pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it showed a real dark side to Mariner that
Mhm.
Was a little hard to watch at one point. I felt as uncomfortable as Tindy did
Yeah.
when she's dangling the jewelry.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, we
she,
did see a darker side. Yeah.
yeah, she definitely needed to work through some issues, which over the course of, as we find out over the course of, several seasons, finally kind of gets there in the end. But
We had our
Not-
doubts the whole time.
yeah,
Well, I
and
think
she
that-
would fall back, right? Occasionally.
Like one step forward, two steps back.
I think we all had a little frustration, whether it's like, okay, so we're following along with her, all of a sudden now she's back 2 steps and then she goes forward a little bit. So yeah, she was a interesting, complex character. And she had a lot of history with a lot of classic people, even Riker,
Mm.
she they said she was stationed on DS9 at one point.
The
It's
Quappa.
like
Yeah.
it's like she's everywhere.
But it's one of the fun things about that is I can't remember, is it in the last episode where at some point you have newer people on the ship who are that Boimler's mentoring, and he talks about, oh, we're going to go to such and such planet, which we had seen earlier in these series, and he's talking about it because he's been there, right? Before he was like,
Oh.
Mariner, you've been every place, and I've been no place. And now
Yeah.
he's the one who's been places and can say, oh, well, I'll be able to tell you what this is and that is. Wow, you've
Oh.
been there?
There's this cool bar. Yeah, you should go see it. Oh, you've been there? Yeah.
So that was
That's right.
nice to see as well.
Yeah.
Again, funny moment that I recall was when Vindicta steps out of that pod or whatever, the door closes and her cape gets caught.
Yeah.
She also, and at one point, Tendi leaves the holodeck and she steps over the black bar that's being the letterboxing of the movie
Oh!
to get out of the room.
Oh yeah, breaking the fourth wall. That's right.
All right, let's move on to your next pick, Chuck.
All right. It's from
Whoa.
season 2, episode 8, I Excretus. This is the episode where the Starfleet auditor comes on board to
Yeah.
check their performance through these simulations, and Boimler is running and rerunning the Borg scenario over and over to try and get 100%. Meanwhile, everybody else goes in and fails. One of which was Mariner's scenario with, we'll just call it the naked time, because
Yeah.
there were a whole bunch of naked time in there. And of course, we have that memorable moment of Boimler with his legs.
Yeah, I decided to not go with
We're not
that.
gonna use- I think we used that on the episode when we covered it months ago.
Even when I saw that again recently, I was like, it's still kind of disturbing to see.
It is. Well, so is Shax and Tana.
Yeah. All right. And look at that smirk on her face.
Look at the shock and surprise on Mariner's face.
Yes,
Right.
she just like couldn't look anywhere without. It's like,
Who could-
Oh my goodness.
Who could? And then she has to face Shaq saying something on the bridge. He's like, because he can't get the image out of her mind.
Yeah.
It was that disturbing. So yes, that's a moment.
It is. It is. Yeah, there's a lot of, we talked about having those callbacks. Certainly there's a ton of them in there. We had Rutherford basically doing Wrath of Khan in it. And Mariner also does Mirror Universe in it. And of course, Boimler's doing Borg with it. Poor Boimler gets it to be 100% and then has to, it all vaporizes on him because he has to stay in
Hey,
there and just do stuff.
Stall. You got to stall.
Yeah, completely Borgified.
Rescuing the Borg babies.
That was
Okay,
funny.
my next pick is going to be a controversial one. I know because everybody has feelings about this episode, but because in my mind, it's like, good on you, Lower Decks, for taking the chance and just going off on a tangent for a bit. That was the Peanut Hamper episode, and no, I'm sorry, a Mathematically Perfect Redemption. It just was so interesting to me that they decided they were going to concentrate on a character you'd only seen once before
Mhm.
and doing virtually an entire episode with just that character and their interactions. We do get the Cerritos crew in there eventually, but it just to me was like, that's great. Try stuff even, as you're going through the seasons, just sure, go for this is halfway through the third season, and they go, I think we can try to spread our wings a bit and just, no pun intended, because everything flies on that planet,
Boomch.
even the snakes, the sky snakes. But
Everything's
just do something
flies.
different.
Oh,
So I know people have, it's a Peanut Hamper episode, of which there are 3.
We already talked about the first one.
So that was my pick. Controversial, like I said. Oh, big controversy.
no, I did like this outside the bottle, instead of a bottle episode outside the thing where it's a story, like you said,
Mhm.
with all these characters we knew nothing about except for Peanut Hamper. I thought it was really cool. And at times it was a little emotional because she was falling in love and all that stuff, or the bird, whatever his name was falling in love with her. I thought it was a really cool episode. I liked it.
And you think for a little while that maybe she's redeemed herself, and then realize, nope.
Oh yeah, she was playing the long game with this race.
Mhm.
That's right.
All right, let's move on to your
Craig?
4th pick, Craig.
My 4th pick is Reflections, where this is the one where we find out really a lot about Rutherford, because he was fighting with himself and why he did and didn't like pears. It's because the guy was in his little his implant. So we saw some really cool stuff and found out that there's a reason why he has the implant, and it was a cover up or something like that. And then of course the whole recruitment thing where Boimler freaks out and people respond to the freaking out. um, and then I did like little moments like the people would come by and the tent, like the conspiracy theorists. Hey, tell us the truth about Cisco, you know, things like that. And we saw Rutherford actually build in his mind the Delta Flyer,
Mhm.
for that race at the end. So, and of course, you saw Boimler had to rely on his friends in his mind to fly the ship, and so this is a really cool episode, and it sets up Mariner going off doing the archaeology thing for a little while.
Right.
You didn't talk about my favorite point where Mariner was zapping all of Jennifer's friends. I'm just
Oh.
actualizing my dreams.
Yeah, that's right. No, Jen said, "Hey, I actually think these guys need you to tear him a new one."
That's right.
And she wanted her to do that. Okay, well, we can do that. Yeah, the whole her whole friends thing was funny.
Yeah, and I like the fact that, when Ransom shows up, there's, Mariner just sitting in the booth, and Boimler is just
You better bring this pad back full of names. and Boimler helped her.
we don't want to protect you guys. We want to explore nebulas and stuff.
We want to scan freaking quasars.
But it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listening again, I think I'd gone back at the time, but we actually don't hear the actual voice. That's 2 actuals in 1 sentence, but we don't hear the voice of the person giving the orders in here. We hear some other voice saying those lines,
Mhm.
and then we find out it's the Admiral in another episode. Same scene again, but suddenly a different voice coming out
Yeah.
there.
What was his
Right.
name? Buena Admiral.
Isn't it?
I
It's
can't
not Buen
remember.
Amigo, is it?
I think it is Buena Amigo. Something like that.
Oh, Juan Amigo. That's what I heard.
All right, let's move on to Chuck. Your fourth pick.
My fourth pick is season 4, episode 9, The Inner Fight. And this is where they're looking.
That was great.
She says, I recognize this guy. And she picks up what looks like Baylock and she says, it's just a puppet, and starts shaking it all around. Like, hey, put it down.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and then Rutherford scans and goes, there's bones and stuff inside there. That's not a puppet.
There's bones in there.
But I don't know. I mean, you have to wonder, was that really part of Freeman's plan? Because her plan was to get it to the point where they knew they probably weren't going to get the information, but to have somebody close by, Billups in disguise,
Mhm.
who would be the next person you would scan the room and say, this guy, I went to this guy instead. So she had to be
I
as
like that.
obnoxious as
I like that
possible.
because you didn't see it coming. I liked that, the way that unraveled.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
you're right.
And my next moment, really small moment. It's just on screen for a couple of seconds, although they talk about it a little bit or part of it first. It's from the episode An Embarrassment of Duplers. And it's Mariner and Boimler's names carved into the bar next to Kirk and Spock's name.
I almost forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Because you have this relationship between Tendi and Rutherford, which you go,
Yep.
are they even at the very end, Tallinn is
Right.
going, is there a sexual tension thing going on here? And it's no, yes, it's really hot in here.
You're
Yeah.
feeling hot. Let me take your temperature.
Yeah.
So then you contrast this with these two are always going to be friends. They're always going to be, best friends, great friends for life. And I just felt like that was a great way of, representing that in a very simple visual manner to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a little moment. It's a wee moment now. All right, let's move on to Craig, your pick number 5.
Which is the fully dilated season 5, episode 7, which recently we just saw. And a lot of it has to do with Snell.
Snell.
Well, he's a moment in himself.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a
Badgie.
moment and stuff. That's right. I thought this was a great episode because I like the time differentiation between the planet and the ship, and how that was playing out when Boimler spilled his drink all over the stupid console and was trying to wipe it off, and they couldn't use the console and they stayed on the planet for what, a year? Was it?
That's now going to be a phrase that what's his name says, Boimler and Rutherford at the transporter console.
That's right.
Where drinks are not where food is not allowed.
Yeah, which means time passing.
Their shirts came off.
Their shirts came off. But I like this whole thing because they went from a girls outing to suddenly they're having to kind of make their way on this planet for a while, and Tallinn actually was exceeding very well at doing that. Then we saw the purple Enterprise with purple Data's head. There was a lot to like in this episode, so that's why I put it on there.
And Mariner playing the soap flute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Making besties, some of whom are murderers. Don't really
So
need to know that. No, don't need to know that. Yeah, and I liked the dynamic that Tallinn was not trying to compete with Tendi. She was trying to get a connection, and she's doing all these things.
Yeah.
And Tendi is doing all these things and she's competing, but they're both doing these amazing things. Tallinn is doing the stuff that has to do with, raising the crops and so forth. And Tendi in this backwater planet is powering Data's head and creating, a water wheel and all this stuff too. It's like they're both going crazy with doing sciencey things.
Yeah.
Yes. And Mariner has her soap flute.
So flute. Just right.
Bring that down to cetacean ops.
That's right.
No, please. All right. Anything else to say about Fully Dilated?
No, I was kind of, to be honest with you, when I was doing all this, I was picking episodes because I thought,
Yeah.
it's going to take me forever to go through and whittle down some moments,
Mhm.
So I just kind of went with episodes that stuck out in my mind.
Well, see, I appreciate it because I don't have to hide the image of Snell in this episode. It's right there.
He's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In case you watch the video from our last episode, find the two Snells hiding in the episode.
Another reason to watch the video.
He'll be showing up again, probably for a long time. All right.
When we go on a main mission, we're gonna have Snell now.
Right.
The subspace chatter. I'm sorry. Subspace chatter is Charlie. Main mission will be Snell.
Yeah.
What are you doing over there? Okay.
No globbers.
Let's move on to Chuck. Your pick number 5.
Pick number 5, season 2, episode 10, First Contact. At the end, where Captain Freeman is arrested and taken away. This was a shocker.
It was.
This just caught us off guard. Went, dude, what? And it's a cliffhanger for the season too. So yeah, everybody thinks she's going to get promoted, and they're all out there in the hallway ready to applaud and start applauding, and she comes out in handcuffs. Like, oh. So I really enjoyed this. This is one of the non-humorous moments, obviously, but it left us with this taste of confusion, wonderment, surprise, whatever you want to call it.
Right, because we know that she didn't do it, and it's like, well, what is going on here?
What did she say? We'll be okay because the truth is on our side.
Yeah. Yeah, and since what's going to happen in that scene, it's interesting to have her going to telling the representatives from Starfleet, don't need to say anymore. I'm not going to accept the promotion. I'm not going to be leaving the ship. No, you're really going to have to leave. Nope. I've made up my mind. I'm staying. You're under arrest.
Yeah.
Ooh, harsh. Yeah. Yes. Well, it all turned out well in the end because why? Because they trusted the system.
See, the truth won out.
The lower deckers who
Yeah.
made a mess of things. All right. And my pick number 5, right? We're number 5 here is, again, not from an episode, just like Chris Westlake gets from every episode. And every year you would watch to see what was being added.
That's my honorable mention. You beat me to it.
That was mine too.
That was my honorable mention if we had time for it. Yes. Nailed it.
Yeah, we had everything from the whale probe to the green hand, Apollo's hand.
They started out with, I forgot. I thought it was just one Borg ship. In the season one, it was like 3 cubes. Yeah.
And the Cerritos takes a hit and says, nope.
Yep, I'm heading out. Nope.
Yeah.
Think I got something to do over there somewhere.
Yeah. In the next galaxy. Yeah, that
like
was
Mariner says, keep your friends close and your enemies way the heck over there. Someplace else.
Yeah. Well, the reason I put this on my honorable mention is because each season, we were like, what's going to be in the little war scene? We were curious each time the episode would premiere, or season would premiere.
And it kept building, and nothing got removed. Well, some Borg ships
from season 1
because they're just getting way too crowded to have that in there as well.
We can't assimilate all this.
But then the last season they say, okay, we're out of time. We had other ideas. They actually had I think Mike McMahon saying he had a pad, and they wrote done a bunch of ideas, and one of the ones that they was always on the list was the green hand, but they just couldn't figure out how to do it. And I don't remember whose hand it is. It's not Mike McMahon's or a cast member. It's somebody in production that's their hand.
Really?
That's on the cube.
It's the hand of Apollo. Come on.
But you get the hand, you get the Tholians, and you get V'ger all at once.
I'm just gonna do this.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Dramatic recreation. All right. So I think we all were expecting that, and there it is. And Craig, you have one more
Yeah,
pick here.
actually went the extra mile, and I had one more,
Mhm.
and that was the Tuvix episode.
Oh, that was up there as well.
Freeman actually called out Janeway by looking through her logs and said she straight up murdered him. Yeah,
Yep.
because that's how she handled it. Yeah, and we had what the Scottish or Irish guy in there, and Chaotica and all that stuff. It was and all the mix-ups between the characters, and not just Billups and Tiana.
We call
But
this
they-
one Swalins, not my greatest work.
Yeah, yeah,
I want
Yeah,
to
they
fish.
yeah. They ended up with a bunch of them. And this episode, since it's been it was the premiere of this season, that season 4. At the very end, they set up that Nick Licardo ship,
Mhm.
with the Klingons at the very end. So kind of set the stage for the season, which, we know how that turned out.
I
Did he
gotta
look
tell
an
you
awful lot
that.
like Tom Paris?
No, I don't see it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
they don't look anything alike.
I think one of my favorite background things is there's a a shot where the mechanical salamanders have been
Yes.
Borgified and they're just
Yes.
walking along the hallway.
Yeah,
Out of that entire episode, I have to say my favorite moment was the promotion ceremony to Lieutenant Junior Grade at the end.
Yeah.
Mm.
And Tendi, you never know when she's going to have an outburst. Like when Peanut Hamper says the name, she goes, Peanut Hamper. I love it.
yeah,
When she gets promoted, I got pips.
yeah,
You never know when Tendi's going to burst open like that. That's the charm.
yeah, yeah. She's a great character.
She didn't make a very good stealth Orion, though. I think that's I think we can agree there.
Yeah,
All right. And yes, so an excellent pick. Lots going on in that episode. Absolutely. With two stories going on that are related, really, because you have a Tuvix situation going on the Cerritos while they're on Voyager. So it's
yeah. This is just like the Hear All Trust Nothing. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's another deep dive into Voyager, or and this time it's Voyager instead of DS9. But then there was like everything, like you said, the salamanders on down. Everything was represented
And
somewhere.
he likes cheese.
Yeah, even the cheese. Yeah,
get the cheese to sick bay. Yes. What was I going to say there? I forgot what I was going to say. Something about
Any other moments? One that jumps.
yeah,
to
I've got
mind is-
I've got one more
Okay,
from
go
my
ahead.
list, and I just have it. Oh, so this is the last 2 episodes of the final season. I've lumped them
Mhm.
together because to me that's a to be continued
That's
story,
two-parter. Yeah.
Yeah.
and I see them as one unit. So we have a very good season finale. I feel like some years I think the only year that I really didn't like the finale was the year with the Admiral and the autonomous ships. I just felt like
Oh, yeah.
not great. Again, this was with the
Yeah.
Freeman says you're better than that Admiral. No, I'm really not. I'm going, let's not do that.
I felt
So
like that was a small concept, and they tried to blow it out really big.
Well, you notice
to
it kind of
make it a finale.
disappears for most
Yeah.
of the season.
The only thing I
Yeah.
liked about that episode was when Shax's idea of ejecting the warp core is finally the perfect idea.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
And he's
thank
running.
you.
Greatest
running down
day of my life.
Here's the montage of him running through the ship to get there and do it.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
Yeah. Everybody's cheering him on. Yay.
But no, this. I mean, we got so much in these 2 episodes. I mean, we talk about Deep Space Nine.
Legacy
we got
characters.
Bashir, and we got Garrick back in this one. We got T'Pol.
Yeah.
We got Dax. We Lily Sloan.
was a lot of
Amazing
fun.
end.
It was.
We
a
got
lot
to
of fun.
see. We got to see. William Boimler.
He's
Where we all
cool.
scratch our head, kind of like, well, when they separated the Porter accident, was it like a Kirk thing? Because did regular our Boimler become more and this guy got all the good stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. Although I will say that when he's by the end of the season, he decides to not keep following the
Right.
the red
pad.
pad that he purloined, that everyone knew he had. He was exuding some confidence, which all seemed to dissipate as soon as Ransom said, "You're going to be, provisional first officers." And he just was like,
don't do that.
Yeah. Oh. Hey,
You're
don't forget we
ruining
saw. I don't think you mentioned Lily. We saw
Yeah, you
Alfie
did.
Woodward.
Yeah. So
Did
we
you say
got
Lily? Okay.
Lily. We also got a chance to end Ma'az's story, which we started in
Oh my
Ways
gosh.
Douche.
Yeah, and they spelled it a little differently. I was watching the captions. They put the accent after the M, and later they put it after the first A. So I was wondering, is that the same
they're
person?
very flexible in where those apostrophes go in Klingon.
You should send a tweet to Mike McMahon and let him know.
It's a translation thing. Look at the Bible, how many different versions there are.
Ma'az and who knows? Yeah, so I really thought this was a solid season ender, but then tacking on what happens afterwards, I think really put it over the top, and it definitely was an extremely good
So
two-part.
compared to All Good Things from TNG,
I don't know. I sometimes had issues with All Good Things. I mean, All Good Things is great, but sometimes it was a little too Star Trek-y season 3 going on here, or something like that.
Oh, I was going to say 2 Star Trek-y for you.
No, just kind of like we're sliding back here a little bit, but
You're right. I got you.
All right, so those are our regular picks, but we now have room for honorable mentions. If anybody has some,
we pretty much covered a lot of mine because we had a lot of similar episodes. But let's not, forget about Badgie from Terminal Provocations. When he's chasing Rutherford and Tendi up the stairs, and they're getting tired. You got this, Badgie. Wait, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that Badgie's code, when it was in those autonomous ships, wanted to burn the Admiral's heart in a fire as well.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was a memorable quote.
What else did I have? We mentioned Wedge Dudge before,
Mm-hmm.
and T'Lyn is explaining about the anomalies, and she has lost all control.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, control yourself.
That's right.
I've got down Blue Orions or Blue Orions. That just made me laugh.
As soon as you see, not just them, but any of the references to old Star Trek, and they had like the TAS characters like on a pad. They had Kirk and Spock. I was like, whoa. When you first see it, it kind of sticks out. And
those old
Blue Orions. Yeah. The Blue Orions was definitely one of those moments that was cool.
Again, back to first contact, when Rutherford and Tendi are taking what they think is the final tour of the ship before Tendi is transferred, and Rutherford says, "I know the perfect place to take you," and Tendi says, "The rubber ducky room?"
Yeah, I know.
Wow,
that's a deep cut right there.
Yes, it is.
Rutherford says, "Even better." Like, wow.
That's right.
How many people know this?
I know where it's at. I got a picture of it.
Yeah. Look at the schematic. It's right there.
That is, it just comes and slaps you upside the face going, did she just say that?
Not many people I don't think would get that, but yeah.
If you're not a Star Trek fan, it'd be like, what are they talking about?
Because it's not in any show. That's the fun part.
Or your last name is Okuda.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder what he and Denise
They're probably sitting there going,
yeah, they did a spit take on that when they were watching. Did they Yeah.
I've also got down, how can we forget, the Bozeman Historical Site and Tourist Trap.
Yes.
Look, there's the Vulcan ship that came down. It's a slide.
Yeah.
There's the jukebox. It only plays that one song.
Yeah.
Doobie doobie.
That was pretty good.
And Mark Twain negotiations.
Yes.
Yes.
Just so
Yes.
random, callback, weird, and they used it 3 times.
Right. Yeah.
It's
That
even in
was
the
pretty good.
finale.
I had a few from Old Friends, New Planets, the season finale with Nick Locarno. And they had the Mark Twain discussions in there. Freeman says, "Why does this work?" Until it says, "Illogical tactics can sometimes lead to logical conclusions." And Boimler goes, "It's beautiful."
That was pretty
And
good.
then Nick Locarno tried to disable the Genesis device. He says, "Ha! Next time, use a shorter timer." And the Genesis bomb goes, "To deactivate, insert 2 bars of latinum." They put a paywall on a bomb?
Boom.
Stupid Ferengi.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is very Ferengi right there. That's pretty good.
One of my other favorite things that was in a recent episode was Billups explaining Cordry rocks. I just love that because it's such a trope now with Trek to have these rocks when things explode on the bridge. It's like this debris
yeah.
that doesn't do anything. So those are the Cordry rocks that are used and necessary for the ship. And they put them
Wow.
back in the ceiling, for next time.
Yeah.
I hate those things. They always fall on my head,
Well, we always joked, was it on Disco, I guess, at first, they would have like the fire and sparks would come out of the
Yep.
same places. It
Yep.
looked like almost like you're riding a amusement ride. Shh,
They always have that. And, Trek does this an awful lot. They also have the little grinding wheel that makes the sparks that fly out,
Yeah.
but just from like a spot, because that's
Yeah.
where you have that machine. But now we know at least, and I went and I looked, and it's on Memory Alpha now, what a Cordry rock is. And they show an example from a different show. I think it's from Next Generation of Riker being killed by Cordry rock. So,
Oh, I have to see this. How do you spell that?
I believe it's just a CORDRY.
CORDY, like
Like
CORDRY.
Cord RY, I think it is.
Cordry rock. Got it. All right. Must see this.
Not now.
Yeah, there's Riker laying on the floor with
Yep.
debris and rubble around him.
Gotta watch those.
I'll be
man.
honest. It does add some ambiance to what's going on.
Cordry
It does,
rocks were
but it's weird.
pebble-like
It's just-
objects installed in Starfleet vessels.
Yep.
Starfleet engineers such as A.D. Billups considered Cordry rocks essential since the non-centrosymmetrical disrupted the charged leptons in the isolinear pathways of the main deflector. Got it.
Yeah, then he got cut off at that point. He's like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sure you're on it." Yeah.
We don't need to know.
And
Chuck
the
has lost
only,
all
honorable mention left
control.
that I've got is one we mentioned already. It says Snell. So
Snell.
Snell.
all right. So
I want
those-
somebody to dress up as Snell on the Star Trek cruise.
yes.
You were
Just
trying to
lurk
get me to
around.
do it.
You can
Just
lurk.
You
You can
gotta
lurk.
lurk. You gotta like be
Yeah.
poking around things and going, "Hey, what are you up to?"
What are you Klingons doing here?
Where's my gobblers?
Globbers.
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 How many globbers is this buffet? It's free.
Oh.
Oh,
I have to coach him on how to be a Snell.
You know what? You know what we should do is make up some fake money and leave it around. People pick it
Sell
up.
globbers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Get
No,
your
just leave 'em.
globbers here.
Almost like tracks or something like that, fake money.
Don't be
Flues.
caught on an away mission without your globbers.
When
Yeah.
when Guinan was selling flues around the 2000s.
Right.
Alrighty. So that is our picks for great moments from Star Trek Lower Decks.
That
And
killed the first hour of the show.
And yeah, well, we're gonna go to our predictions now. We won't bother with an appropriate sound effect. We're just going to assume that we're already there. So mission 2 is our 7th annual prediction show, and we're going to first see how we did on last year's predictions.
Oh my.
But I made note of the predictions that some of the people in the chat were making, so we're going to check on
Yes.
those as well to see how they did, and hopefully they did not do better than us because that would be embarrassing. All right, so Craig, we're going to do yours first.
All right.
So let me see. Am I going to get my show notes here?
Number
Shirley-
one.
Surely I was a regular Nostradamus, right? And
Once again, you had 6 when it called for 5.
So we will have to decide on some of these where they stand, I think. So your first prediction was that Strange New Worlds would visit the mirror universe. Well, it didn't. I mean, so that was going to be for 2024. So that would have been the season that was in 2024.
Can I get the
Last
sad
season.
trombone?
Only if you play it when yours are wrong, Chuck.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, we
Exactly.
played it continually.
Yeah.
So I think that's a miss on that one. Do we agree?
Agree. That's a
I
0.
I
Just to be
disagree.
sure.
I disagree.
Okay. We will see Eric's in real life.
That's a 0.
Some on lower
Didn't we-
deck,
I would say,
some,
yeah.
some species on lower deck.
Wasn't he on Lower Decks? Not necessarily real life, but
Yeah, but you were because
You
we
said
the whole
live
conversation was
action
about
series.
having him portrayed in like Strange New
Right.
Worlds as a actual character that was on the set.
I would still like to see. I still have a
absolutely.
feeling they're going to bring him in somewhere.
Absolutely. Your next one is one that a lot of people were hoping for as well. Star Trek Legacy will be greenlit.
I thought that was a shoe-in for sure.
It did seem so. It did seem
Yeah.
so. But I think with the budgets the way they are, I think they're holding off, too many things at once. All right. Your next prediction was a major character will die in Discovery season 5. That's nebulous. I don't know how to do it because one of the major characters didn't want to. Oh,
Did anybody die in season 5?
No, season 4. Season 4, where the person was trying to get to the other universe. Did they
Yeah.
die or did they go to the other universe? Did any major characters die in Discovery? I don't
think so.
think so. Because when we get to the end, even though we haven't seen some of them for a while, they're kind of back at the very end of it.
Right.
Everybody was singing on Subspace Rhapsody.
Well, that's Strange New Worlds. We're talking about Discovery.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Wow, I'm
Um,
off alignment.
So I don't think we can give you a win on that unless that's what I'm checking to make sure. Did I miss somebody? I don't think we had something.
Did anyone? I'm going to ask Google.
Well, one person did. One season character died. The of the 2 lead bad
Locke.
the Breen.
Locke died
Right.
in season
Right.
5.
yes. Yeah. Well, he was a major character.
Well, he was
For
in,
the
like,
season.
a lot of the season. It just says a major character will die
I-
in Discovery season 5.
So Locke.
Yeah, I'll give you the win on that. I'll give
Okay,
you
I give him a half point.
What? It was a major character. He was the protagonist or the antagonist.
We got to see what
Mostly.
he looked like without
He
the
saw-
helmet on, for crying out loud.
I wrote a verse of a song about him.
Yeah. So he's a major character.
The major character. So right there.
Okay.
All right. Your next prediction, another one that people really wanted,
Ugh.
but Netflix will pick up Prodigy for season 3.
I thought that was once season 2 came out. I thought that was going to be like a shoe-in.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we don't necessarily have a definitive no yet. I haven't heard anything
Hey.
from the Hagemans or Aaron Walke that says, yeah, hang it up, but we didn't get anything on it.
Yeah.
And the last one that we will actually get the Star Trek : SETI Alpha 5 radio
Right.
play.
Right.
We do not have that yet. 'Cause,
No, I'm surprised. I thought that was already going to be out because they've been working on it for 100 years.
and it's not that hard to put out.
I could
Audio
produce it
drama.
faster than that.
It's nothing to put out podcasts.
Yeah, come on. this is a radio
We've
play.
been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, so you had 6 predictions and you got 1 right.
All right. Fine.
Hey, you got 1. You might do better than all of us. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, it's the death of somebody too. It's not anything positive. All right. I'll
All right,
take
Chuck. Now, this one, I believe, was like a softball because you said you hadn't seen the
Nope.
previews and so forth, but
Nope.
Craig and I already knew that was going to be correct. That Nurse Chapel is going to be returning.
She
for season
left
3.
at the end of season 2. I figured.
Right. Well, she she didn't really, because she got held on the ship.
But it
'Cause of the
might have
whole-
been like Tendi, and who knows how many seasons she'll be gone. So I figured she'll come back within the season.
She's gonna be back
Okay.
for season 4 as well.
All right. Your second one is in season 2, Murph will transform again.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What did he
Went
transform
into the water and got communicated with the
Person.
whale.
Well, when he got back out of the water, he wasn't the whale anymore. But all right, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. He didn't. I'll give it to you. It's kind of like It's kind of like getting your skin all wrinkly when you go in the water for a while. But
Prune Murph. Good.
yeah, prune Murph.
Right.
Nobody wants prune Murph. All right, another one. Nebulous. We'll see what people think. Discovery season 5 will leave the story open-ended. Well, she sends it off to get to the point where we already know that's where it syncs up with Calypso. That seems to be an ending. I don't
don't know that you could hang a movie or a special or something on where they left it. So
Yeah.
I'd be willing to let this one go.
Okay.
Well, there was a
Yeah.
couple of open-ended pieces to that leading into Starfleet Academy.
I would say it's more like characters that will be showing up in it, but that was already going to be happening. So I don't,
Okay.
it's hard to tell
Okay.
how that's an open end when, well, those characters they're going to be there. It's a spinoff.
You know what? We're taking one away from Chuck. Let's just let it go.
Well, the
Where is it? Ding.
now the next one is one that is surprising us because we thought maybe we'd be seeing season 3 by now.
I thought so too. This one missed it by that much, but maybe you can tell me from the promos. Do you see Scotty as the chief engineer? Because I said he won't become chief engineer because we have
Well, Pelia is still there.
Pelia is still there. Does she retain it in season 3, or does she turn over the reins of chief
No,
engineer
I
to
thought-
Scotty? Or is he just like trainee for the season 3?
No, I
That's
think they're
what I was
still.
thinking.
I have a feeling they're still building characters before they start taking their actual places. So I'm not so sure he's going to be.
Right.
If
And
you
I
can
was
do-
thinking, well, Uhura's on the bridge as chief communications officer. So, everybody expects Scotty, now that he's been presented to us, will become the chief engineer. But I'm like, not so fast. I don't think so. So
Yeah.
this one's a little too early to tell. I
Right.
don't think we can give me a point on that.
To our own frustration, it's too early to tell because
Yes.
we really like to
Yes.
see, season 3.
I was hoping they release it
Snell.
like in
Yeah.
the fall, or something.
And your last one is the Strange New Worlds Gorn will be a Hallmark ornament.
Had to throw a goofy one out there. Did it happen? I don't know. I don't keep track of the Hallmark ornament.
No.
Look how
Hey.
cute he is. Look how cute he is. Oh,
Yeah, and you were very specific. You said the Strange New Worlds one. So if the
Yeah,
POS
I didn't
Gorn
care if
shows
it
up.
was the pre-adolescent one or the adult. Give me a Gorn.
All right. So one of them I don't know what to do with because it's a prediction for something
early.
that we haven't really seen.
I'll take 2. See how you guys fare.
All right, let's see how I did here.
I did 2 out of 5. What is that? 40%. Craig got 1 out of 6. So that's way less.
All right.
we're playing
This-
golf rules, right?
Yeah,
The
really.
score wins.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way. Spock says, "I will be judging your work, and Vulcans do not grade on a curve." So there we go.
When did he say that?
Right now, it's quote right there on the screen. All right, my first prediction was there will still be no word on the next theatrical movie in 2024. So I'm going to take this as
It was on again, off again. We had a
so
word.
like, it's like, is it on again now? I don't know.
The
So it's
rug
like
keeps getting pulled up from under us.
they keep kind of like announcing something that just turns into vapor and I don't know how to judge that one. I mean, because okay, we got a word, and then it's just like, okay, you're announcing another director and another screenwriter, just like you have 5 other times. So they did make an announcement, but what have we heard since then? Nothing. So I don't know. What do you guys? I'll leave that to you guys. What do you think?
Ooh. I don't think we don't have a date, so I'm willing to give that one to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one is wishful thinking. Lower Decks will be renewed for a 6th season.
I think that one
Oh,
was,
that hurts.
I think that was settled.
Yeah, that one we know.
Yeah.
We will get casting news on Starfleet Academy.
We got some news. We didn't get the
Big
whole
time.
cast, but we got some news.
We got
I think we got a lot of the cast.
We got like most of the cadets. We got the main villain. We got the captain of Starfleet Academy. We know who's
Chancellor.
returning.
Yeah.
All right, you get that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You get that one.
Strange New Worlds will be renewed for a 4th season.
Yep. Oh,
And so that is true. And I tacked on something that we don't have the answer to yet because we're behind. There will be a slate cast shakeup, but can't validate that part of it.
well, Strange New Worlds is in pre-production now, so
Right. They're going to start filming 4th season early next year. And my last one, very much like I think it was Craig, Star Trek Legacy will be announced, but with changes from what we saw at the end of Picard. So we know that did
That's
not
a
happen.
new.
So
Ooh,
that is
Clinton's in the lead with 3 solids.
yeah.
All right. Now let's see how listener Diane did. This one was in regards to Strange New Worlds, I think, but it had to do with live action. If Eric's appears, excuse me, it gets very dry in this room. Sorry.
Yeah,
if
sorry.
Eric's appears, he'll be motion captured by Doug Jones.
I can
Great
totally see
prediction.
that. Yeah. I
You
can
know-
totally see that. Yeah, but yeah.
It's an if he appears, he didn't appear, but if he is, so we can't say whether or not that's didn't happen. She amazingly got this one.
Nailed it,
Data will appear on Lower Decks.
Yes.
but
Yep.
didn't say what color.
Yeah, disqualified.
Technicality.
That's right. What color?
Tendi will get a Orion spinoff show.
Negative.
No.
She had a
And-
spin-off episode, but yeah.
This was a part of a conversation we were having during the predictions. I wrote down, she says Sam Kirk dies. I think this was in relationship to some of the prediction about Strange New Worlds or comment about Strange New Worlds. So I couldn't peg it to anything. But it didn't happen this year, I guess. All
No,
I can say is it didn't happen this year.
he's not even born yet.
He's on the
He's on
the
the
ship.
show.
No, it's 2025. He's not born yet. Stick with me. Try to keep up.
I think you need that sand trombone right now. Okay. And Jared had one. We will get another Audible exclusive Star Trek production. I didn't go to check. I didn't remember seeing anything anywhere about that.
Well, I would almost say that it kind of falls in line with the Star Trek : Con : SETI Alpha 5.
Yes, but that's a radio
Yes.
play. It's a radio.
Yes, this is
Pardon me.
exclusive.
Yeah.
It's those are audiobooks and such. This is
No, I just said it kind of falls in line with this.
yeah.
I mean, I would be down for audio Star Trek stuff like that.
Did they get something that was an Audible exclusive though? That's not available in paperback or something somewhere else.
Nope.
I say
Well,
we give him a point.
All right.
Yeah,
Go
give
for
a
it.
point.
Give a point.
We give him a point. We're being good today.
So we batted.
We didn't suck.
Yeah, we got some.
Oh.
We got some.
One of us did.
All
we
right,
got
but
1
let's
point.
move ahead and find out how we're doing this time around. So we'll start off again with Craig. Your first prediction for 2025.
All right. So I think we'll get an announcement of our Lower Decks characters that we love and care about showing up somewhere else.
Like a
Interesting.
crossover, or
Well, they kept talking about how we would play these characters all the time, and then Mike McMahon was like, it may not necessarily be the end. They might show up somewhere else. I've seen that in all his interviews, so I think they're dropping hints somewhere.
Star Trek : Lower Decks :
Legacy :
Radio
Yeah.
Play.
City Alpha 5.
Ugh.
So I feel like they're going to show up somewhere. Whether it's, I don't know if it'd be another animated series, but I'd love to see them show up somewhere. I think that's the hints they keep dropping.
It'd be really interesting to see the entire cast, since they look like the characters show up like we had Boimler and
Yeah.
Mariner show
That
up.
might be tough for some of them.
Well, Rutherford doesn't have to have the thing on the side of his head anymore.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So Eugene's
right.
clear on that.
Chuck, what is your first prediction?
I'm rolling the big dice here. I'm going to say Strange New Worlds will be extended to 7 episodes or 7 seasons. Excuse me.
Oh, 7th?
7 seasons. They're going to get the
Well,
full
they're only-
Star Trek treatment.
Well, we can't judge that in a year because they're
They
only
may
gonna
make an announcement. They may. That's what I'm.
they're
That's what
they're
I'm
only-
gambling on.
All right,
they've
all right.
they've
You're,
only
so you're
noted-
gambling that we will know
I'm
by
gambling by the end of the year, we will know that
year.
it's going to have a full 7-season treatment, just like TNG, just like Voyager, just like the rest of them.
okay.
All right.
Interesting. We will see.
Give it to him.
Brett.
Okay, give it to him. Clinton.
Okay.
Yeah.
My first prediction, and a lot of my predictions this time are like, I feel like they're almost like wishful thinking type of things because it's so unclear with going on at Paramount right now. But I have the Section 31 movie will set up the opportunity for stories from the logs of Enterprise C.
Ooh.
So we'll have a captain. We'll have a
Yeah,
Captain
because
Garrett.
she's
So-
she's in this one, isn't she?
Right. She's in the Section 31 movie.
Yeah.
So you have a potential to have stuff existing, in that time period, which is before TNG and after, TOS. So there's a niche in there for it to go into.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Craig, your prediction number 2.
All right. So I know we haven't heard anything about a theatrical movie. Well, very little, other than rumors and stuff. Excuse me. But I feel like Section 31 is going to set a precedent. We're going to get an announcement of a Star Trek movie streaming event of something else.
Okay.
Another streaming only movie.
All right. I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility. I think that, I think it kind of depends on really how well Section 31 does, but
Yeah.
absolutely. Chuck, prediction number 2.
I'm going to watch Star Trek Wrath of Khan one more time. No.
Oh, talk about a softball.
Wow.
I'm going to get 5 points this time.
And then the end of the year comes and he goes, "Oh, I forgot to watch it." Oh,
No, I'm going to go out for Prodigy again. We're going to get one more season, maybe even 2 of Prodigy.
okay. All wishful thinking at this point. All things we want to see.
Yep.
My second prediction is we will get casting news on the so-called Star Trek Origins of the Federation movie. I'm gonna say, all right, I'm done saying we're not going to hear anything on any of these movies. Now I'm saying we are going to get casting news on this movie that will probably not be out in time for the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, but we will still get casting news.
Yep.
All right, Craig, number 3.
Okay, so this kind of goes into one I think we all had on our list. I think we're still talking about Star Trek Legacy. However, I think there's going to be a little shift. All the work from Otoy with the recent
The Kirk and Spock.
the Kirk and Spock thing. They're all that's going to participate. Otoy is going to let me read my line. Sorry, Otoy is going to participate in a larger Star Trek project, and we will see some legacy characters, perhaps Star Trek Legacy ?
I see.
Because Sam Witwer has been talking about how this is opening up a possibility of other actors playing a lot of these legacy characters. I saw him in an interview saying that, and he said several times he was under NDA, so there's a lot of things he can't talk about. So I don't know if about the technology is what he's referring to, or some
Right.
other stories that he might be interested in or involved in. So I have a feeling that might play into Star Trek Legacy.
Well, it's very interesting subject because, as you know, one of the recent things in the actors negotiations was this whole issue of AI and,
Uh-huh.
scanning people and using their likenesses. So I don't know
But
whether,
he did make the point. He did talk about that in an interview I saw. He
Yeah.
said AI is not making any decisions here. This is all digital prosthetics over real prosthetics
right.
that they did. And
even, the voices were, well, in that case, the voices were all just pulled from existing audio. If you still have the actor and the actor can say their lines, then you're probably even better off in that case. But so,
Yeah.
that will be, if that happens, that will be very interesting to see what reaction is to that in a much bigger sense.
yeah.
Just something like that comes to pass.
Yeah. Otoy, the whole thing was Otoy's software. They have their own proprietary software to do this masking.
Which
With the
they do in real time.
Yeah, they do it in real time. So that's what I'm saying. I think Otoy did that short film as a proof of concept to feed into something else, and I just have a feeling it could be Star Trek Legacy.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see because the software has some work to do. One of the things that he would talk about is that he had to get all the mannerisms down.
Mhm.
But then the way the software was working, when he wanted to get a certain expression, he had to do stuff with his face that looked absolutely ridiculous. It's just like,
Yeah.
was not the right, but he would see, okay, but if I do this, that's what it looks like. Cause he could just watch it in real time to figure out, okay, it looks like this now. If I do this, I get that reaction. Then he had to map in his brain, if you want this look, do this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And he also had brought a big learning point to Otoy was that,
Yes.
hey, you need to have an actor involved so it's not like a soulless, image. You got to make those decisions like he did. He went all in, and like you said, making those expressions to make sure to get the mannerisms right. And I think it sold it for me. I loved it.
Okay.
So anyway,
Your third prediction, Chuck.
Oh, it's finally my turn.
No, we're gonna move on. Mine is no.
Craig, shorten them up, Craig. We've been here an hour and 20 already.
yeah.
We're going to get some finality. I'm going to stick with Star Trek 4 Legacy, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get some finality. Either they're going to do it or we're going to get the axe and say it's not going to happen. We're not going to keep vacillating on this. Maybe, sort of, kind of. Here's some news. We're going to have a finality to this.
Okay. All right. Mine is we will get word on Tawny Newsome and Justin Siemens' Star Trek sitcom with, God, I figure with few strange new worlds to be visited because the thing is supposed to be set at a resort where you would have regular sets. The series will be greenlit almost as an in addition to series because it theoretically will not require as big a budget. Chances are I don't know if it's going to be half hour, but it would be shorter, more fixed sets, cheaper to produce. So I think that would be to fill some gaps, get something going. They would do that.
Whenever she talks about it, I keep in my head. I keep thinking like the camera set up like at the Archie Bunker house for a sitcom. Yeah,
The camera setup.
Yeah, the 3 camera or what they call it, 3 camera setup. For sitcoms. And I'm thinking about that when I just imagine Star Trek in the Archie Bunker house.
Oh, Boimler. Boy,
Yeah.
geez. Okay. Let's move on to prediction number 4 from you, Craig.
I had a similar one. I said that Tawny Newsom's sitcom will be greenlit.
Okay.
I'll put
good.
Star Trek in there, but
Chuck, number 4.
I'm struggling on how to phrase this, but I'm going to go for a trope here that Strange New Worlds will some way make reference to Worf's family, Kittimer, something around there. I'm trying to wrap my head around it because everyone does eventually. But it's time for Strange New Worlds to bring in something about Kittimer. Everybody seems
know-
to mention that.
Well, you know what? Worf's grandfather was
Yep.
around that time. So
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so Kittimer would not have happened yet because the
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Doesn't matter. All right.
It-
Doesn't matter.
The facts don't matter, Clinton.
Oh, the
I know.
planet's out there.
Yeah.
Okay, I almost put a second part on this one, but I didn't. There will still be no word on a final Kelvin timeline movie. And the part that I took off just to say is that, and we're considering this dead, but I'm just going to leave it right. We won't get any word on another.
You're
Kelvin
saying
timeline.
no news, and I'm saying we're going to have news of some type that's just going to either kill it or move it forward.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Legacy. You were talking about.
No, I was
Kelvin
talking about the fourth movie in the Kelvin.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Sorry.
That's Kelvin time. Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
All right. Number 5, Craig.
All right. This is going to be a tight one. So let's see. There will be more Paramount shuffling turmoil this year.
Ooh, interesting. Because my next one was we're going to get this nailed down and resolved. Now, to say that there's going to be more shuffling, all that says is there's going to be some more news, which there's
did-
likely to be.
I did say shuffling / turmoil. So
Please, no. Please, no.
we got to expand Clinton's work.
Please, no.
That seems like low hanging fruit. Where I'm
I
going to
want to
say
retire that graphic.
it's going to be resolved. They're going to be sold to like WWE or something.
Oh,
All right. I've got season 3 of Strange New Worlds will be a bit of a letdown compared to the tremendous stretch episodes of season 2.
Ooh. Wow.
What?
Ye of little faith.
you think season 3 is going to be a letdown?
Well, you're going to look at it in total and go, yeah, but I just don't think it was as creative as season 2 was. I mean, that's just my prediction that I think you're going to go, it was good. It was good, but
Look at season 3 of TOS. Just kidding.
no, please don't do that. All right. Do you have another one? Craig with the
No,
re-up
but
number.
I have okay. So I think one of the episodes of Strange New World season 3 is going to be animated
Interesting.
because we saw a glimpse of it at the end of the crossover.
You know,
Right.
we didn't have any predictions around like the Star Trek cruise. We should have, if we'd predicted Larry Nemechek would have been on Star Trek Cruise 8, we would have been right.
But you didn't.
Yeah.
I'm going to predict it now. Larry's going to be on Star Trek.
No. All right. Do you have a number 6?
I do not. I am out.
Okay. My last one is also for Prodigy. Prodigy will be greenlit for a 3rd and final season on Netflix with a reduced budget and just 10 episodes.
Ooh, okay.
So maybe
Wow.
why they're waiting so long, because now they have to foot more of the bill than they had to before.
Well, they
All
got to pay. Netflix has to pay for the WWE Raw now. So
That's right.
Because they did so well on that Tyson fight.
yeah. Speaking of letdowns,
And on that note, it's time to warp on out of here.
All right. So who speaks for you people?
go ahead, Chuck.
Hey, you're supposed to go first. Let me get the
I
line
don't
right.
have to go first.
It's
I'm mixing
time
it
to
up.
fill the dilithium chamber and warp on out of here.
I'm mixing it up.
All right, listen up, everybody. If you want to listen to a great 20-year span podcast where we've nailed down every aspect of it, and it's a well-oiled machine, check out comedyforecast.com.
There we go.
You can find Technorama over at chuckchat.com. You can just search for Technorama podcast in Google, and you should be able to find us pretty easy on YouTube and everything else.
All right. Great. You can find me, Clinton, at Comedy Forecast, all one word with the number 4.com. There will be a new episode out next week.
Oh.
And big story, 2024's big story is slowly working its way through the system right now. So it's talk about predictions. I didn't predict that 2024 story would come out in 2025. All right. That's all said and done. So it's time to hit the theme, boys. If you like the show, please be sure to tell a friend about it and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear from you. Follow us on lost my notes here. Follow us on X at The Topic is Trek, or on Blue Sky at The Topic is Trek. Visit our Facebook page or call us at 816-TREKKER. That's 816-873-5537. Until next time, on behalf of Chuck, Craig, and myself, I'm Clinton, thanking you for listening. And as we always say here on The Topic is Trek,
Don't
put on the red
put
shirt.
on
Don't
red
put on the
shirt.
red shirt. Don't put on the
shirt.
red shirt. Don't
Red
put on
shirt.
the red shirt.
You see what I got to work with, people?
it's sad. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching and for listening. And we will talk to you again next time when we'll be talking about Section 31. Woohoo.
Live long.
Peace out, y'all.